Good morning, everybody. This is Ed Avis. I'm the Managing Director of APDSP, and I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar this morning about the new APDSP member benefits. We have two speakers with us today, Gray Sellers, who's a Senior Advisor with CardConnect, and Eric Stedham, the CEO of FotoZoomer. And both of them will present their special products, which are new member benefits for 2020. And I will begin the presentation talking about our virtual roundtable program. But before I begin that, let me tell everybody that if you have any questions, you can ask them by using the question panel on your screen. And please send those questions as soon as they come to your mind. And then after each of the three presentations, if there are any questions, we will answer them at that time. And then I'll ask you again at the end if you have any questions. But don't feel like you need to hold your questions until the end. Go ahead and ask them using that questions panel at any time, and we will answer them when appropriate. Okay, so the first new member benefit is a new program. It's called the APDSP Virtual Roundtable Program. And this idea came about during a meeting where some of the people in attendance realized how valuable it is to have frank conversations face-to-face with other members, where they can ask questions and seek advice and just discuss what they're doing in their businesses at that time. And so we started thinking about how we could replicate that concept in a way that allows people to feel free to speak, but doesn't require them to get on a plane and fly to an event, because that can be challenging. Not everyone has that opportunity. So we came up with the idea of the virtual roundtable. And we have two of them scheduled for early in 2020. And our hope is that these succeed, and it seems worthwhile to do one per quarter thereafter. And so you can see the two dates that we have selected for this already are January 28th at 10 a.m. Central and April 21st at 3 p.m. Central. Now, there's a couple of key features that I'd like to present about these. First, we're going to limit it to 6 participants in each roundtable. That way, everyone should have an opportunity to speak and can share ideas without being talked over by the other people. There's going to be just limited moderation. I might throw out an idea, or if a board member is moderating, he or she may throw out an idea to get a conversation started. But in general, the conversation will be allowed to freely go, so that you can discuss what you want and bring up new ideas and get advice. We will limit the attendees by geography. This is something that we want to do to make sure everybody feels comfortable speaking in this venue. So if you're worried that your competitor from down the street is going to be listening to whatever you want to discuss, in this format you won't have to worry about that. We will limit the participants by geography. And last, these events will not be recorded. We don't want anyone to worry that something that they discuss during this kind of closed meeting will somehow show up on the internet or something. That's unusual for us. Normally, we record all of our webinars so that other people can enjoy them. But for this particular roundtable event, we feel it's most important to be able to let people speak freely and realize that they're not being recorded. Now, if we get more than 6 registrants, or if we get some overlapping geography, say 2 people in New York and 2 people in Chicago, we will schedule another one, either at that same day, just later, or the next day, or something like that, so that we can accommodate as many members as possible. That way, we're not leaving people out, but we still maintain the 6-person limit and the overlapping geography limit. So I hope that some of you on the call are interested in this concept, and we'll give it a try, and we'll bring some new ideas or some questions or some concerns to these events. You can see the sign up link down there below. It's our website, which is apdsp.org, and then /APDSP virtual roundtable registration with dashes in between there. And I'll include that link in the follow-up email to today's presentation, so you can get it that way also. And of course, I'll mention it several times in our newsletters leading up to the event. Okay, that concludes my portion of this presentation. If you have any questions about the virtual roundtable program, go ahead and send them to me now or anytime in the next few minutes, and we will get them answered. But now I am going to change the presenter so that Gray Sellers can can talk about what he's going to tell us about. Gray, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. As Ed said, my name is Gray Sellers. I am with CardConnect, and we are very happy to be one of the endorsed providers with APDSP. So we do the credit card payment processing, and I think we have some unique features for businesses that sell to other businesses. And so I've got some commercial printers here in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, and they have done very well. So I just want to briefly tell you about a little bit about our company, and then hopefully that will spark some interest, and maybe we can have a conversation later. So just to get into a little bit of, let's see if I can go to the next slide here, a little bit of an agenda here. So I'll dive right in. Who is CardConnect? So payments essentially is what we do. We can do that through a payment gateway, whether it's through one of our virtual terminals or whether it's connecting with a piece of software that you may have. We connect to all the card brands. We have a mobile reader as well if you have people that are in the field that need to take payments, and also consolidated reporting, everything that comes into one app or one website that you can actually go onto and use the virtual terminal, or you can look at your credit card transactions, your statements, send in support tickets. It's all done through one system. And so, just to talk a little bit more about CardConnect, the biggest thing from this slide is that we are a leader in payments technology. And so we were actually purchased in 2017 by First Data, which is the largest credit card processor. And it was specifically around this piece of processing technology. And there's two real big differentiators between us and other payment processors when it comes to business companies and business to government. So companies that sell to the government or to other businesses. And then also with that is that another reason why First Data bought us was because of our point-to-point encryption. So that very last piece where it talks about a patented PCI validated point-to-point encryption and tokenization. It's just another level of within the payment card industry, the PCI compliance that we go above and beyond for our customers. So, and then just to let you know that in 2019, Fiserv which is a global provider of financial services technology, actually bought out First Data. So we have the powerhouse behind us to continue to innovate within this industry. A lot of Fiserv's clients include banks, credit unions, securities broker dealers, leasing and finance companies, and retailers. So we're very excited to be part of that partnership. So interchange optimization is really one of the biggest differentiators. And essentially there's three parts to a credit card transaction. There's the small percentage that goes to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. There's the portion that the credit card processor gets for underwriting the account. And then there's the largest piece, which is called interchange. And those are when banks pass money back and forth. There's a fee that all banks charge to do that. It doesn't matter whether it's in credit card processing, in the loan process. Anytime a bank does that, there's something called an interchange fee. And so where most credit card processors only have the ability to affect, what percentage they're putting on top of the cost from Visa, MasterCard, and the banks, we're able to actually go in and change the interchange, what the banks charge, by adding additional information. So how we do that, there's something called level 2 and level 3 data. And that data, so if it's a business-to-business transaction, there's additional level 2 data, sometimes level 3 data. And that's just additional information that the credit card processor or the banks want to see to get a lower interchange rate. So, when somebody asks you for the 3-digit code on the back of your card, that's one piece of data. There are 6 other pieces of data that you would need for level 2. So a lot of the times, a company's terminals may not be set up to take that information. A lot of banks, what I've seen is that a lot of banks actually set up their customers on a retail rate, when a lot of times they should be really set up on a commercial rate. And that's where our company comes in. And so we automatically, even if you don't put in the level 2 and 3 data, our company has software that recognizes that, and we actually put the information in there for you if it's not there. What that means is you're able to get a lower interchange cost, which then lowers your overall fees. These are just some of our large clients, but including these, we also obviously have retail, restaurant, business to business, business to government companies all throughout the nation as well. This slide just talks about our CardPoint platform. That is the platform where you will have the CardPoint gateway, the virtual terminal, the app itself where you can connect a swiper to it, and then all of the reporting capability. And what that looks like on a cell phone is you're able to get that on a cell phone or from your computer, and it just is able to do everything, like I said, all in one place. And then obviously there's the swiper to be able to take those credit card payments from the field. But we're also able to do hosted payment pages where if you send out a link to your customers, they're able to actually go onto there, put some additional information in, and then pay through that link. That's all held on our servers, and that's something that we include with our service to you. Just a brief little bit about security, just because it is something that's on everyone's minds. You hear it in the news all the time that certain companies are breached, and that is not something that we want to see. And so what we have done is develop technology specifically for this. So we don't just encrypt your credit card information when it goes through the terminal or the virtual terminal. We encrypt it and we tokenize it. So encrypting it is giving it a string of characters, and then it's decrypted on the other end. Tokenization is then taking that encrypted information and assigning essentially a dummy number to that we can only, so it's essentially 2 layers of that, encrypting and tokenizing it. And then everything is also kept in our vault there, our virtual vault within CardConnect. So because of that, a lot of the PCI compliance requirements are reduced when you have to do the PCI questionnaire. Every company has to do it if you take credit cards. And so, like I said, it's just another layer of protection that CardConnect brings to the credit card processing industry. and specifically the point-to-point encryption as well. So the point-to-point encryption is essentially, it goes directly from the credit card terminal directly to us, being encrypted and tokenized. That second point, it says it reduces the self-assessment questionnaire to 26 questions because of this technology. If you did not have that, the PCI questionnaire would be much longer. So the payment card industry knows that this type of technology does reduce the amount of fraud that goes on in taking credit card transactions. So I'd love to be able to do an analysis for you. Having this partnership with APDSP, we have an agreement that we are, every deal that is brought on through APDSP, we give 10% back to the association. So we're very happy to do that. And there's my contact information. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'd love to connect with you guys at some point in the future.
Great, thank you very much, Gray. Attendees, if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask them via the questions tab. And Gray, we do have one question from an attendee, and I have a question too. So let me start with the one from our attendee. Okay. He asked, do you have any members that use Thoroughbred software and have integrated your processing with it?
I'm not familiar with Thoroughbred software, and just like anything else, there are thousands of softwares out there. So it'd be something. What I usually do is I connect with Thoroughbred, see if they're an open platform. So the way that a lot of these software companies have gone, they used to be pretty much open platform, and they use a generic gateway, and then they figured out, well, if we just connect with one processor, then we can start making money from this as well. So it just really depends on the software itself, and if they're open, if they already aren't open, if they're open to adding other processors in there. So I will find out for you if they are an open platform, and I can get that information back to Ed, and he can send that out.
That sounds good. Thank you, Gray. Yeah, email me that info, and I'll share it with this attendee and others. Thoroughbred is a business management software system that some companies that do large format printing, in particular large format color work, use. So it's common among our members. Gray, I had a couple quick questions too before you go. One is, you mentioned that some existing credit card processors will set up a business as a retail business versus a commercial, I think you said. Can you explain very briefly what that means? I mean, what qualifies one to be one versus the other?
Yeah, so all of the banks offer credit card processing. In fact, some of the larger banks actually use First Data as their credit card processor. But in setting them up as a retail rate, the banks are just, banking. The banks do banking, and so a lot of the times they have these partnerships with these processors, and they don't necessarily ask the correct questions. These are people that have just been brought into the bank to specifically sell credit card processing and don't necessarily know all there is to know about it. So most of the time, a retail I would consider more of a business to consumer. There's no other additional information. A commercial rate and setting them up that way is to have some type of software that the company can use to input the additional data. And so with level 2 software, some processors have that in-house, like we do at CardConnect with our CardPoint virtual terminal. And then very few processors, CardConnect and CardPoint are one of the only ones that I know that actually does level 3 as well. So when I was with the previous processor, the customer used to have to purchase or do software as a service specifically for the level 3 software. And so, and then on top of that, we're taking that information, if it's been left out, because with a lot of government transactions, sometimes they send the information over, but they don't always send all of the information. And then that's where we'll come in, recognize there's a hole in the data. If the government requires 10 pieces of information and they only have 9 in there, then you don't get the government rate on that, which is a lower rate. So you have to have all 10, or in the business to business, all 6 pieces of information. And so we can recognize that and put that data in there for them.
And Gray, can you give us an example of how much lower the interchange rate is for if you're able to use the level 2 or level 3 data versus the level 1?
Sure. Yeah, it's about 0.5% less.
Okay, so that could add up.
It depends. Just like Visa and MasterCard have all different types of cards, but in general, it's about 0.5% less.
Okay, good to know. Last question, Gray. Is there a some kind of a threshold size business? So we have many members who are just a mom and pop shop with two or three people working there. Do they need to take some minimum volume of credit card orders and sales in order to use CardConnect?
Absolutely not. So we'll take any amount of processing volume, and obviously is if it's a 2 or 3 person, they can still have a decent amount of credit card transactions or volume. And so it doesn't even matter the number of transactions. We're really looking at volume. All the volume does is allow you, like anything else, volume discounts. So that's where we do the analysis. But if someone's running $1,000 a month up to several $100,000 a month, we have clients between all of those. So we're happy to look at them.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much, Gray. Attendees, again, if you have any questions, even if you think of them later, go ahead and email, use your panel here to send me those questions, or you can email them to me later, and I'll make sure that Gray gets those questions. So Gray, thank you very much for your time this morning. I appreciate it, and thank you for partnering with us. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting everyone.
Great, thank you. Now I'm going to change presenters to Eric Stedham, who's got a very interesting program that I think a lot of our attendees will be interested in. Eric, are you ready to take over?
I am.
Okay, let me switch to your screen. Okay, you're on, Eric. Thank you.
Certainly. Do you see the full screen version of just the path to print?
Yep,
just want to make sure
we see it.
Okay, great. So first off, thank you everybody for giving us some time this morning. I am Eric Stedham of FotoZoomer. Here's my contact information in the beginning slide. I'll also show it again at the end. That way you can formulate questions, or if you'd like demonstrations for other people in your office, you can email us and we can set up one-on-one demonstrations as well as market research information on how to implement the type of programs we're going to review today. What you're going to see is a multiple fold of opportunities, from a print hub type scenario to in-house printing and expanding how you do print. So feel free to take a look at the photozoomer.com website. That'll give you some more information about what we do. But again, feel free to contact me after the presentation as well. And as Ed said earlier, please ask your questions during the presentation. It's very helpful to get them as we're going through, because I can answer them without really skipping a beat and making sure we address everybody's concerns or questions in regards to how to implement certain things. So part of the agenda that I wanted to go over this morning is really kind of show you the new desktop software we released last year. Towards the end of 2018, but really implemented it in 2019. FotoZoomer has been around for quite some time, so we're not a new product. We're not new to the market. We've been in the reprographic market before. We pulled back because really our solution was a self-serve type solution. And back in the day, the back alley type printing scenario of the commercial printer wasn't looking for really the walk-in traffic type aspect of things. And so we focused on some other markets as we expanded the opportunities with FotoZoomer, because it really was at the time designed around just photo production. But we've added so many new tools that it's given us an opportunity to come back into this industry, and we feel that we can self-serve certain applications, but also bring in some viability in regards to your commercial clients that are out in the field that submit information or prints to you. So we're going to go over the desktop software. The new UI that we released in 2019 is a revamp of the entire software package, but it's available in both classic and the new age look and abilities. The functionality between the software differs. In the classic, some of the tools are not available just because of the classic layout of it. But the new age is what everybody is excited about and sees and utilizes. We're also going to show you really kind of how to increase your print business, which is always the challenge. Where is my next customer coming from? How can I expand to go beyond my current customer base to implement new products that could be more maybe consumer driven, but also give my clients, as you see down on the marketing aspect, more abilities and expanding their control, because we are an I want it now and I want to do it myself society. So it has changed the formula of print. There's a lot of different print solutions out there and creativity aspects, but a lot of people look at software and go, well, I can create this, but it becomes a bit more difficult for them to do. Most of you on the phone probably sell printing devices as well as, do all the in-house printing. So we're going to show you how to expand even the sales aspect of your hardware, which will help you push more ink and media, which is where your profit comes from when you're selling printers. But we're also going to be able to do that through our software from a creativity aspect of ease of use of the software. Most of our products are focused on large format printing. However, we do have some products in there that are focused on smaller format printing, such as business cards and things like that. So you'll see that in the software as well. And one of the other things we'd like to do is kind of show you how to get out of the way of creativity and let the customers create things. So we're going to show you how to measure between the self-serve and the full-serve capabilities, where you'll basically have two structure aspects of your business, where you have a self-serve opportunity where a customer says, I want a simple happy birthday Bob banner with his picture at the end. Well, typically that customer is not going to pay for a design, fee on top of that banner. So our software would take over from that standpoint and let the customer do that creativity, where if they wanted to get more detailed, they could do that. And we'll show you that separation between self-serve and full-serve, where we can enhance and increase the abilities of both markets that you try to get into. And then the most prominent thing that we talked about when I was speaking with Ed and was speaking with other people as to how to increase things with our new Hub and Spoke Print Center software, which is basically the design suite desktop software. So we'll review the software and the different components that you can kind of implement in a sales opportunity, where you would place the software in remote locations where the prints would then come back to your center for printing. Okay. So to kind of give you a little bit of a brief history, if you look to the left there, that's where FotoZoomer started back in 2002. It's what we call our Purple Barney. This FotoZoomer software came from a company at the time that I myself and Rob Miller worked for, and it came out of our newspaper division, and we took our imaging software from that and created FotoZoomer. And if you look at that orange cabinet, it actually has a little 24-inch wide printer built into the bottom, and we could do 24 by 36. And yes, that is a floppy disk in there, so times have changed quite a bit. Now, there's a lot of different iterations of the FotoZoomer product from 2002 to where we are in 2018. But what I wanted to show you is FotoZoomer is not new. We've been around for quite a while, but we still have that simple 1, 2, 3 process of create to print type software. In 2019, as I said before, towards the end of 2018, we introduced the desktop version of our software, which allows the software to be placed on any type of computer, not just in our full kiosk solution. So by expanding that, we're giving more people more opportunity to print. But if you look at that 2018 version of the kiosk, that is our current kiosk solution. It is married up with a large format that would sit off to the side, obviously, but that is a full functioning self-serve ADA compliant piece of equipment that allows customers to create, design, and prepare for print any product that they'd want to that we create to the software, whether it be small format imaging, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10, collages, photo gift wrap, blueprints, banners, canvas tools, business cards. All those design functionalities happen within that software. Now, in 2018, like I said, we introduced the desktop version of the software, where we can break out different components of that software, giving you different abilities depending on your customer's needs. So if you're working in an architectural or an engineering firm, you don't need all those functionalities. You need just the blueprint capability, to where it makes it simple for anyone to create and print blueprints. And that's basically what we've done with that tool, which we'll get into when we get into the demonstration. Now, we also introduced a phone application this past summer. And what it allows customers to do is basically go in there and upload photos for printing, which can be accessed from the FotoZoomer software. It also has a locator on there, so if they're looking to locate a local print shop, it'll also direct them to that print shop. And we're going to be expanding more on those abilities inside the software from a creativity standpoint, as well as a few more little things that we'll launch in mid 2020 as we expand the opportunities there. So if you look at what FotoZoomer is doing currently, we've broken down the tools into basically 3 sections of our software. The bottom line, where it says photos in large format, is basically our image production tools, where we're going to take an image and produce it for the customer that they import into the software. The middle line there, where it says banners, canvas, gift wrap, and photo collage, that is more of our creative software, where they're going to create a banner, create a canvas with the overlays that they want, create photo gift wrapping paper, create a photo collage. And photo collage is now available on the system, so the coming soon is going away on systems as we implement it across the country. Now, FotoZoomer has been selling this in retail environments and in the education and the framing industry for the last 16 years, basically in other areas that will help promote some of the printing that you're going to do as well. We have a sign category. We also have a blueprint tool and a business card tools, and those are more of our commercial type applications, but they do have some consumer applications as well, where if you're resident in a neighborhood that has an HOA and you need blueprints done because you're submitting to add a fence to your property, it's a consumer product, but it mainly was built around our commercial aspects, as well as the biz card program. So that kind of gives you a little bit of what we do. And obviously, there's a lot of detail that we could go into, but for the sake of your time that you've given us this morning and all that, we're just going to kind of cover the basic aspects of everything, but we'll get into a little bit more of the details when we get to the software itself. So from the marketing standpoint, we will show you how to market the different functionalities of FotoZoomer, whether it be just to a specific market or a specific group. We'll show you how to utilize those tools as well. So FotoZoomer really becomes a partner with your company as much as possible, which is why we are a certified premier partner with Canon. We are part of their CAPP program. We've been with Canon, Epson, and HP since our inception. And so we've got a very large, broad market of abilities of where we sell the product to, but also the products that we support. And so one of the things we do is we try to make things simple for people. The whole idea is to give the customer as much control as they want and they need. So basically a faster, easier way of doing blueprints. Instead of learning a print software that some of the manufacturers put out, they're easy, but they're a little complicated at times. We've standardized the process of blueprint creating, or not creation, but from a printing standpoint, to simplify it to where anybody could print a blueprint. They don't have to worry about scaling. They don't have to worry about choosing the right sizes of things. They don't have to worry about what Adobe is going to do, whether it printed at actual size or whether it shrunk the page. Those are all concerns when it comes to printing. So when you get into firms, they limit who can print certain things just because it has to be correct. As everyone knows, line weights off. If you get those off a little bit, you're going to end up with a really funky building. So we simplified this process, and you can print blueprints in as simple as just 3 steps. They just choose the drawings that they want to print. They simply choose the size. FotoZoomer is going to go in there and minimize the sizing or expand the sizing based on the size that they are looking to have the final product print at. And basically, they can send it to the printer that they have on site, or they can remote print it through the print hub that we'll talk about later on as well. Now, this is a tool we introduced in late 2018 and has been great success in the markets that we've placed this in thus far. But this is also an individual tool, so it's part of the full FotoZoomer design suite, but it's also an individual tool that can be placed in any office, and obviously multiple software packs in each office as well. Now, one of the other items that we introduced last year was photo gift wrapping. It was a great success when we launched in November of last year. And we ran out of material 3 times before the end of the year in regards to what we had stock-wise because of our existing locations. It just expanded what consumers can do, and it brought that online experience into a self-serve, on-demand, walk out of the store with that product type solution. And again, going back to a previous statement I made, we are an I want it now and I want to do it myself society. So we basically embrace that with FotoZoomer, and we help promote that aspect, which is going to help promote more print within inside the 4 walls of your stores. Now, FotoZoomer has many different capabilities, and some of those capabilities inside the system are we have banner templates and things like that within our banner program. We have border templates and functionalities within inside our photographic program of large format and small format. So we have a lot of different things that are built into it. So again, we can offer some fairly graphic intensive type process, but still that simple 1, 2, 3 where the customer doesn't feel like they're having to learn a software pack. They're simply just answering questions on the screen, which you'll see when I get to the next screen. I'm going to let a demo software run that'll kind of show you the different things that we do. But the idea behind everything is that FotoZoomer gives the control to the customer, okay? And so from the aspect of what we're looking to do, we're looking to basically showcase to a customer the simplistic aspect of certain prints, but also get into the details of more printing abilities as they go through the process. And they'll become more creative when they see the different things that they can do. And from a printing standpoint, it's all about pushing ink and media through your printers in-house, because that's where the profit comes from, and that print comes out of the backside of that printer. And then also pushing ink and media through the printers that you have in the field. So we'll show you different capabilities of doing that, okay? So from, again, that standpoint, what you're seeing is in a track loop. Well, this runs on the desktop whenever the FotoZoomer software is just sitting idle. This will run, so if a customer comes in and maybe standing in line waiting to process something or drop off something, they could see the different abilities that the software can run. And this is also in a track loop movie you could run on a display. This is a track loop movie you can run on your website. Different functionalities to show customers the capabilities that you offer within inside your business. Okay, so that's kind of the quick kind of as condensed as I can get into version of what we do. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the software, and I'll really kind of just walk through a couple of the functionalities to show you the simplistic aspect of the things that we do. So for instance, if a customer wants to produce a poster, they simply would just go in there and touch the large format button. They would choose how they want to bring in the product in regards to the image that they want to produce. Again, the phone app, scanner, there's a shared drop folder. So if a customer were to email you an image, you could actually place it into this folder. So when they came into your store, they could access it. USB, camera, CD, DVD, obviously the computer that you had the software loaded on would need those capabilities on them as well. Okay. So they would then come in and choose the material. And this material list is customized by what you want the customer to be able to see and be able to choose. So some of the screens with inside FotoZoomer are customized by each location based on the materials that you want to make available, but also the sizes of those materials that you want to make available to that customer as well. That's all done through the control panel, okay, in the admin screen. So you'll come in here, choose the material that you want to choose, and then you would simply choose the image that you want to print, okay? Now, FotoZoomer has a packet in here called IntelliEye, and what IntelliEye does is it will grade the image a green, yellow, or red to show the customer how large they can take the image before it pixelates. So it takes the guesswork out of the image production aspect of things. So you don't have to be integrated with the customer and try to explain to them why it looks great on their phone, but when it goes to print, it doesn't look good. FotoZoomer kind of takes that guesswork out of it. So it enhances your abilities by showcasing what they can do self-serve wise. But if they want a more customized work or they wanted different things done, that would then bring behind the counter for your full serve. So it will enhance your full serve services as well. It gives you a little small description down here at the bottom showing the pixelization. I don't know how that appears on your side because when sometimes you do these webinars, it doesn't appear as crisp, but you'll see pixelization in the red. And this information is all recorded in the receipt process. So FotoZoomer is recording the choices that they made of the material, the size, the pricing structure, as well as the quality, and it prints that information out on a receipt at the end of the process, which can be done a couple of different ways. You can add a receipt printer to the computer that you put that on, or obviously in the kiosk it has a receipt printer if you added a kiosk. But on the desktop version of the software, you can either add a receipt printer to that computer, or if you have a shared receipt process on your network that we could reach out to, we could print it there, or we could print it through a color copy or whichever, or doesn't have to be color, whatever type of device you'd like us to send that receipt information to, we can accomplish that as well, okay? Once the customer chooses the size, and let me stop here real quick, I apologize. The pricing structure is all controlled by you. You can change the pricing structure. We send the system out with recommended pricing, but you can adjust any of the prices that you want. You can also adjust the sizes, again, that you want to offer to that customer, okay? Once they choose the size that they want to print, they can go through and crop, so they can increase or decrease the coverage of the print. They can also then go through and edit by adding a border, adding text, going to advanced options, and let's say apply a black and white effect. So these are all different simple functionalities that a customer can do. Some people have compared what we do to other kiosks in the market in regards to photos, and they said yours is like a kiosk on steroids, because we can do so much functionality in large format where others are really limited to what they can do large format. Our main focal point is large format because we know that's where the profit lies with inside print versus the smaller format. So our focal point really is on large format, okay? So I can do a few different things with inside the color correction as well. We also have you protected from a copyright standpoint. There's a legal screen that the customer has to agree that they have the permission to utilize the print. If they press do not accept, let's say Ed was at the machine, it's not going to say, hey, Ed, are you sure you have permission to print that? It's actually just going to kick them right out of the software. But once they press accept, they get to the screen where they can choose whether to save the project. And if they save the project, it saves it into a folder that only you have access to. They don't have access to that save file. But they can choose the quantity that they want to print, and then they just choose to print the image. At that point, their process is complete. It's actually going to print out that receipt. It's going to tell them to go to the customer service counter, because depending on where that receipt is, they would then bring that either receipt, if it was at the kiosk or the desktop, to your counter, or that receipt would print behind your counter. Your then store personnel would charge the customer for that print, and then you would then release the print to the printer where a PIN code would be entered. So there's a couple of different ways you can utilize the PIN code process. We use it to track what prints are being done and at what times. There's a reporting system and an accounting system built into FotoZoomer. But it's also from a commercial standpoint, if you have, let's say, like a Remax agency that you were printing for, and all the agents came in, and you were billing back to that Remax agency, you could create an account code for that agency, and then our Excel spreadsheet accounting system would calculate that each month for you, and you could then bill off from that, as well as the paper receipt that you would have them sign. So you have basically a double billing process there for backup. And so the accounting system in FotoZoomer is designed to help you manage what prints are being done, when, how, and by whom. It doesn't show you the image, but it just shows you the process of where the image came from, the size, the material that was used, and then who basically put in this PIN code. Once the PIN code is entered, you can then choose the printer that you want to print to based on the size of material that you have loaded into that printer. And you'll also see a digital receipt here. So again, this kind of reviews the information that they ordered a 16 by 20 for $14.08 on photo luster paper, and the quality was good. It was quality green, and then how many quantity the customer should expect. So the process from the customer standpoint for you is that you're putting some of the simplistic aspect of print on them while maximizing your profitability on the backside with the printer. And this can be done either on site, but also remote as well. So we'll get into more of that when we talk about the print hub aspect of where we're going with this for you. Okay. So again, that's the simple aspects of printing, a large format. Same thing when you're looking to do a banner. Customer just comes in. They would choose the material that they wanted to print on. They could import something that was, a template that you had created or something they had worked on earlier that they wanted to, edit or add information to. But they just come in here and simply choose the orientation of the banner. They choose the width, and the width would only be based on the material that you can print on. So it's not going to show them something that you cannot print. So it's not going to let them choose something where you would have to explain that they can't print that on demand, or it's based on what you want to offer them from an on-demand standpoint. Okay. The same thing with the links. They can print up to 60 inches wide and 120 inches long from an on-demand standpoint. Most of our facilities carry 44-inch wide printers on the self-serve side of things, so they'll allow it to go up to 44 inches by 120 inches long on demand. Anything above that would then go behind the counter from a design to print standpoint. So again, this can be customized based on how you want it to appear to your customers. Okay. They can then come in here and they can choose a template. We have different template categories. So they'll say I went into the birthdays. They would be able to choose those. I could go back and choose a different category. So from a celebratory standpoint, we have different templates built into the system. They can also choose to not have one of those, and they could choose a solid background color if they wish. But they could also do a variety of different things with images. You can add currently up to 8 images per project. To make it simple, I'll bring in the flag here. I'll place it on the banner. I can come into my background tab and simply make that image the background. I can also fade that image out so it's more of a watermark in the background and add additional images on top of it as well. And I can bring the images in however I see fit. Okay, I can increase the size of those and justify them where I want them exactly to be on the banner, or I can come in here and move them around. Now, obviously, I'm very proficient in this, so it is quick and easy, but you can create a fairly graphic-intensive banner in just a matter of a few minutes, and it's ready for print. I can adjust the color of any image. I can come back and edit number 1. I can come back and edit number 2. And again, I can continue to add images. But I can also add a drop shadow by just enabling that and then choose the color that I want that drop shadow to be. So again, we give them simplistic tools, because if they wanted that encapsulated in a background or a 3D effect or anything like that, or soft edges, that would be a customized job that would go behind the counter for the full serve graphic aspect. So the whole idea is to give them certain tools, but not give them so many tools that it takes away from the full serve aspect of your printing. Okay. I can also add up to 8 lines of text. They can use the touchscreen keyboard if you have a touchscreen computer, or they can use the keyboard attached to your computer. Okay. I can submit up to 8 lines. I can select all of them and make them all replicate themselves individually, but I can also choose them as a single line and make it maximize the width or the length that I'm looking to do, rotate it around, justify it where I want it to be. I can change the font color, and again, drop shadow wise, I can give the drop shadow to the text as well. Line number 2 can be completely different. I can choose the different fonts that I have in my system, okay? And these are just sample fonts that I have in mind. You can customize what fonts you want available in the system as well. So again, we give you a lot of customization from the standpoint of how the system will operate with inside your environment, but also how you would allow the system to operate in, let's say, like an education environment, an office environment, another retail store environment where the retailer has the software that they design, but then the prints come to you for print. So it's more of a partner, again, the print hub type scenario, which you'll see in the print hub center layout. Okay. So again, I can create somewhat of a custom layout. A little bit graphic intensive for standard purposes, but within just a matter of a few minutes, I can create a fairly graphic intensive banner ready to print. Okay. Are there any questions so far on anything I've gone over that have come up, Ed?
If you have any questions, attendees, remember, use your questions tab and send them at any time. We don't have any questions at the moment, Eric.
No worries. Okay. Just want to make sure, because when I'm talking, sometimes I get going and it's hard to stop me. So, okay. So from the aspect of being able to do things, again, we give them different solutions that they are looking for from a consumer standpoint, such as photo gift wrap paper. Okay. Photo gift wrap paper is going to have a different look to it because it's an individual program as well as a included program in the design suite. So if you had a gifting store, a craft store, a party store that wanted to create products that you would print, or you've sold them a printer, or you want to sell them the package with the printer and the software, you could do that as well. Okay. So let's say I come in here and create this. I just choose the type of finish that I want on the paper. I can choose a theme or just a photo collage. And I can come in here and choose how many images I want to put on that collage. Okay. I would then just come in here and go add a picture. It's going to bring in the images. I can again choose the USB, the camera media, the drop folder, however I wanted to bring those pictures into the system. So you'll see in my sample, I have a lot of different pictures in here. A lot of them are internal stuff and all that. So you can see we play with the software internally as well. We have a lot of fun with it because it is a really unique type package of software. We have different templates built into the system. So if you're looking for something that was unique from that standpoint, you can do that as well. So let's say I bring this in here. I can come in here and I can change that picture. So I can rotate it around. I can change it out from different solutions from what I would want to do from that print standpoint. But basically what I do is I create a customized, let's give Dad some credit here, create some custom photo gift wrap. I can increase this border that's in between the pictures here to be a thicker border or a thinner border and make it disappear completely. I can also choose a different color of that border as well by coming in and just choosing from the color palette and customize the color layout as well. Okay, I can hit the preview here. Excuse me. Again, it's going to give you the legal notice, and then it's going to create the layout. And what FotoZoomer does is it rotates the images around. That way it maximizes the coverage, but it also doesn't cut someone out of the packaging picture. If you're trying to cut data out of the picture, we can eliminate that because we place them strategically around the paper. So the idea is to give the customer simple solutions, but maximize what their creativity is, maximize the ability, but maximize your profitability off your printers. The more solutions you can provide to your customer base and the broader you can from a software standpoint, the more we're going to send prints through your printer, which obviously is the goal of every print shop in the country. Okay? And this information is saved, so if the customer needs to come in and print another version of it, because you know how present shopping goes, they have the ability to reprint those as well. It is password protected, so if they wanted to create that again or print that, there's a reprint button down here. Your employee would simply put in their PIN code, hit enter, and then it would bring up the sampling of the prints that you had in there and saved. It's going to bring up the last one first. But you can see the different ones that we've created just in doing different functionalities. And the customer can reprint this image over and over again, and you can clear out those folders whenever you desire. So the idea is to give you total control of everything, but also maximize the functionality of it from your customer standpoint. Canvas is, go ahead.
Eric, we do have one question. Let me put this to you. The question is your software available as a website plugin so customers can work off-site?
Currently, it is not. The customers can work off-site if you have them install the software on their computer at their site, which is part of the Print Hub, but we are working on a web version. It's quite a bit of a difficult process, but that is something that's on our design board for future release.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Canvas, again, as I was starting to say, is taking off leaps and bounds because obviously, everyone has a camera hanging on their hip. They use it as a phone, but it's mainly a camera. So they're capturing moments that are very dear to them, and Canvas has really taken off and taken a foothold in the consumer market larger than it has ever been before. And the way we create a canvas is a little bit different. We actually expand and offer different opportunities from that standpoint. You'll see, again, that green, yellow, and red based on what the image quality is. This was one that was taken from a friend of mine off of the Facebook page, which was a thumbnail image from that standpoint. But I can come in here and choose different things, okay? I can choose whether I want a museum wrap, and I can change the color wrap around the outside edge, okay? Or I can come in here and utilize the tool and functionally show different aspects of how the tool would lay out, okay? So let's choose a different picture here, okay? And come in here, choose this, and because you can see it on this one a little bit better, you'll see the black museum wrap, but I can also choose the color out of my pre-color palette or from my color palette here if I want to match a particular color, okay? I can also do a gallery wrap, and the gallery wrap is going to show the customer where the fold is going to be. And so you don't cut somebody off. You don't have an Uncle John hanging off on the edges of a canvas print. I can also adjust the color. I can change the size, and I can zoom in and out. So FotoZoomer will add that excess print. So on any of these prints, we're looking at the face of the print as a 16 by 20, but FotoZoomer will actually print this as a 20 by 24. So we're going to add the extra 2 inches around that without the customer knowing it, because the customer doesn't understand that process, but from a printer standpoint, you do. So we add all of that to make it simple for the customer and simple for them to create a canvas for them to print on demand. Okay. And then basically they're done. They answer their legal question and they're ready to print. Okay. So from, again, the standpoint of being able to do different things, we try to simplify it, but also, again, allow you to do personalization of different types of print processes, okay? So now what I'm going to bring up is the BizCard program. Oops, I'm sorry. Get here. The BizCard program is a completely independent program. It can run in your shop on any PC. It could run in a customer shop. Really, mainly it's meant for print type scenarios. But this is a simple business card creation tool. It doesn't do the printing. It actually creates the layout for the customer, but it allows anybody to be a business card designer, whether the customer is going to do it themselves or whether an employee would assist them that may not be a graphic designer employee that you have, but it allows them to walk the customer through simplistic aspects. We have over 72 categories and over 2,000 different designs in the template library. If they have their own design, you would simply just choose a blank and then lay out their design on there. But if you wanted to, you would just choose a different category, come in here and choose this template layout, and then they can do different things with it. So the design behind this is just give you a simple business card creating tool that you can work with the customer could do themselves, okay? If you wanted to round the corners, you could do that. Your pink line is your cut line, your blue line is your safety line. If you need a grid for lining things up, you can turn those functions on and off. You can choose different colors based on what they want their font to look like or their name as it's highlighted for the company name there. Okay, different fonts, again, they're going to get samplings, font sizes. The idea is to give them total control of anything that they would want to do from a creativity standpoint with limitations. Again, they're going to be limited to certain functionalities because we don't want to take away from the full serve aspects of things. They could bring in a logo off of their phone or a jump drive, however they had that image or needed to get to that image. We also have a clip art library of some simple clip art, but I can do a variety of different things. And then I can add unlimited lines of text. So the customer can create as complicated of a card as they wish in regards to text. There's also a back side to the card. So if they choose to have a front side, they would just say no, they were done. If they wanted to say yes, they could do that, and then they could add different calendars. So we'll have the system shows them now as the 2020, 2021, 2022 calendars, a tip chart, an appointment, and you can create templates as well to put into the system by choosing the blank. And then when you choose a blank, just come into the image file, go into where your template would be, and basically just come in here and choose this. So if I wanted that, I just expand it and make it the background, and this will be how you signed up for our software. I can then again move that image where I want it to be and line it up the way I would like it to appear on the card. So the idea is to give, again, you certain aspects of design of print for business cards without complicating the process of business cards. You can add unlimited amount of images, and you can add unlimited amount of lines of text as well. Okay. This would then send out a proof form and order form through your copier, and would give you the aspect of being able to maximize the printing, whether you have the ability to do it in-house based on their needs. If they want 14-point UV coated or satin coated, depending on what your abilities are, you could print them in-house or outsource. We create the layout for both of those processes. Okay, so that's our business card tool. Now, there's the last functionality I'll review, and I'll kind of get into a little bit more of the details of how the packages are laid out, is our blueprint tool. Again, it's a separate tool from FotoZoomer, so your architects and your engineering shops that want to be able to do blueprints either in-house, but they don't want it, let's say they want the receptionist to be able to do it or an intern to be able to do it, and they're worried about the software or they're worried about them being able to print them properly. FotoZoomer takes all those concerns away. Okay, they simply just come in here and choose where they want to get the image from. They'll come in here and choose the prints that they want to print. And if they want a preview of it, they can simply just click on the preview button. It'll open up as a full screen image so they can see the page or the details of the information. They could choose different files, so they can come back out here and choose multiple image files, depending on the file name. If they want to print those, they simply just go select all and go make them all in ArcD, and it's going to give you an order form of ArcDs. If I want this single page up here, I want some half-size prints, and I want 4 of those, I can come in and add just individual prints to that page, and then FotoZoomer is going to scale those down to the appropriate size to make sure that the line weights are the same and everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. So FotoZoomer takes care of all the worries of print, and we print everything the size that it's supposed to be with accuracy. Once they do that, they would hit print. Again, everything is PIN code protected, so they could charge it back to the job that they were looking to print for. And then they would just choose, and again, it gives them a receipt order form from that standpoint. Okay. So the design is, again, to give them a simplistic software pack, whether they're printing in-house. So if you're selling a large format printer to a shop that's going to be, let's say, Johnson Engineering, And Johnson Engineering is doing all their onesie, twosie type sheets in-house, but their full sets come to you. That's the process that we designed this software around, as to where they can do sets if they want to, but it's really designed for them to be able to quickly produce sheets for either subsets or, full sets of drawings, however they wish to do it. All the systems come with different software packets, especially the toner-based ones have their own software compatibility, or abilities, not compatibility. But the process of doing it sometimes can be complicated for some people, so we've simplified that process of Blueprint. Okay. Again, everything is controlled by a PIN code, and then everything in FotoZoomer is designed to, let me get out of this, designed to implement different processes for them. Now, how the programs are broken down are very simple. Okay, so if you were to go to FotoZoomer.com, let me maximize this to the screen here, you'll see the different processes of software that can be signed up for. So you have the business card tool, you have the Blueprint tool, you have our large format tool, which is our banners, our gift wrap, and our Blueprint tool. Then you have the full version of the software, and then you have the kiosks version of the software. Now, this is not the APDSP's pricing structure. Your pricing structure offers a discount as well as a reseller, what we call a bounty. For the software that you would resell to your customer, we will pay a bounty fee for that. So there's implementations. If you wanted to be a dealer of our software, you could implement that as well, but there's also an end user aspect of the software in addition to that as well. If you'd like to see all the different things, just go to the FotoZoomer.com, click on the Solutions tab, and it will bring up all the different things that we have. And again, we'll be more than happy to show you all those in a different process. We are not interested in selling any hardware to your clientele. It doesn't matter to us who your clients are. We're not interested in the supplies aspect of your clientele. We are a software company, but obviously we offer the hardware and the supplies because certain people come to us directly, but we do not need other customers beyond what we do from a kiosk standpoint. Okay. Now, getting back to the presentation, the marketing aspect is that increasing the production within inside the four walls is one of the main things we look to kind of do for you. So we'll show you how to implement the self-serve options better than maybe what your process is currently, but to give your customers a simpler process to create and print what they're looking for from an on-demand or a same-day production or next-day production, depending on how you want to operate it within inside your store. Okay. We're also going to show you how to expand outside the four walls and really kind of go to that 4-block area, and then we go 4 miles. And so these are marketing techniques that we teach. I teach in the print industry and different industry aspects of print. And so I've been teaching marketing for print for about 20 years. So I can give you some versatility of what you already know and add some things to that process. Now, most of your shops are kind of commercial based, and so maybe you're not focused on some of the consumer aspects of things. And so we will show you how to kind of get into those local opportunities with inside the communities that are around your print business, and we can help you grow that aspect. And so we'll show you all the different things to how to basically tap into some of the new markets that you may be missing out on from our marketing techniques that we bring to the table. Now, one of the main things when I was talking with Ed and we were talking about different solutions, FotoZoomer has created, which isn't new, obviously, but the print hub type environment for our current locations. And what it is a current location that has one of our full kiosk devices. They will marry up with other businesses with inside a remote office area or a remote retail opportunity and create what we call a print hub scenario. And how that basically works is they put the software pack, whether it be the large format version of the software or whether it be a full design suite version of the software, they'll put it in those remote locations, and those remote locations then design the print, and then those prints then come back. Are y'all seeing my screen?
Yep, we see it.
Okay. From that print hub standpoint, okay? From that standpoint, I'm trying to find the marker. Here it is. Okay. From that standpoint, this shop would then send the prints back to your hub for print fulfillment, and you would then either ship that product out to them, or they would send someone to pick it up, or you could carry it back to them, however you wanted that relationship to work. So basically, you become the print hub aspect for everyone that has the software. Okay. The idea is that it's going to expand your print ability, but Also, gives those other locations the ability to sell print at a profit. We have a spreadsheet that shows you how to do a split if you were to do like a 60-40 split, which is what we recommend with our stores. We have an excuse me, an Excel spreadsheet that shows each component pricing structure, as well as the split, as well as the weight and the tube size that you would put any of those prints into. We have all of that done for you in an Excel spreadsheet. So there's no guesswork into how you would do that. And as you make the changes to a pricing structure, it would automatically change that in the Excel spreadsheet. So the idea is to give you the ability to put the software out into the field to increase your printability in regards to utilizing your equipment in a more efficient process, but given those other entities outside the ability to sell print as well, but not compete against you. So obviously you're not going to do this with someone that's right up the street, but maybe somebody that's in the next town over, or basically you're looking for shops that are within a one-day UPS, FedEx, or USPS ground shipping process. So you become basically that online print provider. So you're not competing against the 4-overs. You're not competing against the zoo printing. You're basically enhancing that customer's ability to get that process either same day or next day based on your relationship with those other retail stores. Okay. So again, we bring a large variety of solutions. So you may be saying to yourself, look, I just want to offer this in-house. That's fine. We have a solution for that. Or, hey, I don't want to offer self-serve inside my store, but I have other retail locations that I would like for them to submit prints to us. That's fine. We have the solutions currently in place. It's not something we have to go through and say, oh, let's how to create this. We've been doing this as long as you've been printing, in some cases longer. So the design is to give you full functionality and full abilities to create the marketing opportunity for print that you want to create. Okay, so again, when you look back at what we have many different solutions to offer. Okay, the ultimate goal in most people's aspect is they go to the full kiosk solution. Some people start off there, some people get to that point. So it's really the design aspect of where you want to grow your software and how we can help implement different processes from a creativity to print standpoint. Okay. So that's pretty much the end. I have a lot more slides, but won't keep you on the phone too much longer. We're kind of maximizing the time here. But here's my contact information again. So please feel free to reach out to me, either email or phone call. I'll be more than happy to again do individual demonstrations of the software in more detail, because that's about as condensed as I can get down. So I appreciate the time, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have. I am in no rush to get off the phone, but I have 9 more slides past this one, but it's more marketing and how to do different things. But I wanted to make sure that we maximize the coverage of what the software could do during this presentation time.
Yeah, Eric, thank you very much. Attendees, if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and send them. We are officially out of time, but we can answer them or answer them offline. We did have one question come in, Eric, that I can answer, and that was, will this be available to show my team after the webinar? And yes, this webinar has been recorded, and I will post it on the APDSP site as soon as I can get all those pieces together. That's usually within a day. So it will be available. So attendees, let me encourage you, please, to talk to Eric directly. FotoZoomer is a vendor member of APDSP, and we appreciate our vendor members greatly because they make us able to exist here. So please do consider this very interesting offer that Eric has here, and see if it works for your business. And like he said, there's more to it than that he was able to present today. And we will write an article about his system here in a future newsletter edition. So pay attention to that too if you want more info. But of course, go to his website. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for attending today. Again, if you have any other questions, go ahead and email them to me or to Eric directly, and we'll get those answered. But I appreciate everyone's time. Eric, thank you very much.
And thank you.
And this webinar is officially ending.